what's going on, guys? Welcome to part 6 of this 8-part series. Today's sub-reading, whatever, it's going to be called Learning. Okay? So instead of schooling, knowledge, subjects of interest, reading, stuff like that, I just use the word learning. Alright? So for years I had lost the desire to use my brain in the slightest. After college, I no longer had that inherent desire to continually obtain further knowledge. I really didn't. It just, something went out the window. Thank God years later it clicked back. But sometimes this happens. This happens all the time, in fact, to people. It's not an uncommon thing. I literally didn't care about the news or current events, current trends, sports, anything like that that used to keep me wrapped up in, like I said, out the window, just no interest. I was fine. I was in my own world. I thought that's just what it was going to be forever, and thank God, like I said, I snapped back mentally, and what I had done before is I put my brain into lamp mode, which is just straight rest mode. He's just chilling. My brain took a mental vacation for years, okay? And but he's all rested up. He's better now. He got quite a tan, but he's better. He didn't get sunburned, so don't worry about it. No skin cancer from my brain, thank you. And so like I said, it was a cold and empty time in my life, so I'm not even gonna dig into that. But point in case, never lose the hunger for knowledge, please. If you're younger than me, older than me, age doesn't matter. Just don't lose that hunger and that desire to consistently advance in your life. Because that's what I firmly believe, is that we should try to become the best versions of ourselves, and we don't have to force it. We don't have to try to put on this act, oh, I'm a saint, we're all filled with error, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, maybe we could work on it. So my family wanted the best for me. We don't come from money, to say the least, but somehow they found a way to switch me into private schools in second grade, 2nd through 12th grade. So I'm eternally grateful to them just for the gift of life, let alone things like that. But, and it put them in a position where it wasn't the best, but they did it for me. And that's self-sacrifice, that's selflessness. And that's something that I learned in life from them. So that's good, whatever. Fast forward 2nd through 12th grade, 2nd through 8th grade, then 9th through 12th, I went to an all-boys school, and that was the worst part about it, is that it's an all-boys school. Other than that, it was fine. Everybody pushed each other and pushed themselves to new heights and stuff as far as athletics went there. And I don't know, we just had a good time, and I met a lot of great friends who I still talk to, not really, but that's neither here nor there. But to say the least, it was a great experience, and we had no problem. With the females, we would have dances with all girls schools, or most of the women who I ended up getting into a relationship with were actually from just normal high schools where it was co-ed. So after that, after I graduated high school, I directly went to Massasoit Community College because I knew I could save money and I could transfer credits, okay? The financial thing was a major role in that, and I didn't feel like I was ready for a D1 school at all. I really wasn't. I was 17 years old as a freshman in college, so I'm a little young for my grade and stuff like that. But anyways, I went there. I earned my associate's degree in liberal arts. I soon found out that can't really do much for me nowadays, so took a few years off, thought about what I wanted to do. Boom, went back to WSU in Worcester, and I tried going for a bachelor's in business administration. After a semester or two, I quickly found out that wasn't for me. So instead of wasting money and my time and other people's time, I just left that, okay? And then I thought about, what do I really want to do? Well, no matter what, I want to be able to help people, whether it's directly or indirectly. Preferably directly would be great, because I'm a hands-on learner, I'm a visual learner, all that stuff. So anyways, pertaining to that, I don't know. I started thinking, well, what's a good career that I would be financially comfortable and I would be cool with doing the job? It's not back-breaking stuff. I worked in kitchens and department stores and stuff like that my whole life. So kitchens were always fast paced and pissed me off. But you grinded a lot, dude, and you just didn't make that much as a cook, as a dishwasher, as anything like that, as a prep cook. And so I did that because it's a job. People need jobs and stuff, But realistically, I would like to become a stenographer, and that's something that I would be able to enjoy studying and learning how to do it. I know it's not an easy process, but it's a lot quicker than some of these other degrees and things you need to get to deal with anything in the medical field, But like becoming an EMT or becoming a stenographer, that's something, it's a long-term goal still, but it's not quite like the 8 to 12 years of everything and pre-med and this and that. So that's something that's attainable for me, I'm looking into that. But then, we're dealing with this whole pandemic, so I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about, hey, is it okay if I can go outside for a little bit? And, because the treadmill's broken, I got to get some exercise. You think it will be all right? In my head, I'm like, So, anyways, like I said, I went to Worcester State University, tried to get a bachelor's. It wasn't for me, so moved on, yada yada. So let's talk about subjects of interest. Subjects of interest will make it much easier for us in the long run if after you're done with school for things like that. If I'm not interested in a subject in the slightest, then I'm not going to dedicate my time and effort into obtaining more knowledge and really understanding the subject at hand. For example, okay, let me slow it down. For example, I've recently been getting into boxing and studying boxing and watching it, and even more recently UFC and stuff like that. When I was younger, I didn't care about combat sports. I like sports that were teams, you work together, and that's great and all. But to really study it now and see that it's a one-man sport, but it's really not. You're one man in there, but dude, you have a team, dude. You have a squad. You go through camps, and I was able to study into it and learn a lot more than I've known in the past year or two. And so there's many things like that. It doesn't have to be a subject like a school subject. It can be anything, guys, anything. All right? So I would just say if a certain topic or subject is boring or not interesting to you, just chalk it up. Boom, throw it to the side, move on, okay? This is how you're going to find out what you want to do much easier, and you might not have to waste as much time as I did. So sources of knowledge is important too. Make sure you're getting it through a reliable source. Wikipedia is definitely the best source, just kidding. So, some sites like Wikipedia and some stuff like that, anybody could write anything, anybody could change and edit anything. That's horrible, dude. You want to make sure you're getting your sources from something reliable or somebody reliable. Okay, so I'm going to quickly talk about types of learning. You could excel at learning hands-on, practicing things hands-on and learning as you go, or maybe you're a visual learner. You watch people do it and you shadow them. Maybe listening is your key. Maybe you're very good. Hey, can you give me a verbal description so that I can take this into my head and then I can analyze it and go from there. Some people like to write stuff down, and remember, even writing it down and say I didn't look at it again, writing it down once, that helps me to get it in my head more, and I do look back at it. So I'm kind of all of these. I like to learn hands-on, visually, listening, write it down, but some people excel at others where they might not feel like they're as successful in another category. But me, I feel like I'm kind of balanced. Reading also, like types of learning, reading, some people like to just sit with self and analyze stuff and pick it up that way. And all of these are forms of knowledge, types of learning, ways that we can excel mentally. Our brain is a muscle. That's all I'm trying to say here, I work out physically more and more every day, and it feels good, and I'm exhausted and I'm hurting the next day, but I keep doing it because I know it will get better. Okay? So do the same thing with your brain. Keep your brain active. Your brain is a muscle. Work it out, man. Challenge yourself every day. That's pretty much all I have to say on that, because also on reliable sources, if you think about the ideology of oral tradition, things get passed on for generation and generation. Think about that game that people called telephone in the 90s, where you'd pass it down. You'd say one sentence and pass it down. It would go around in a circle. When it comes back to you, it's completely different. Okay, so you need to avoid errors like that as well. Fact versus fiction. Always make sure that the knowledge you're obtaining is coming from a reliable source. Like I said, Wikipedia. Ha ha ha. All right, moving on. Even calculated categories such as statistics have their own flaws, so always fact check people if you feel that you have to. So whether you're in school or you're all set and finished up with a master's degree, I would say either way, the thirst for knowledge will always be present. All right. There's no end to what we can learn and what we can utilize. I just ask that what you do utilize and what you do learn, please use it for good, because knowledge is powerful in either hand, in the hands of the enemy or the hands of the hero. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying everybody has to go out there and be a hero, but make a difference no matter how small. And imagine if every single person made a difference once every day for somebody else. This world would change drastically. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's a little idea, but boom, it grows. So I'm out. All right, Jabberjaw's out. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll catch you guys for part 7 coming out in about a day or two. I'm sorry that I've been out for so long, but I'm back in it. I'll catch you guys for part 7 of this series in a few days. Until then, stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. Peace, guys.